Hi, my name is Sarah Madvig. I'm a senior in the Political Science Department, and my research deals with the Affordable Care Act. My research question asks what explains the variation in support for the Affordable Care Act. The previous theories explain that party and political ideology are the most important part in explaining a person's opinion on the Affordable Care Act, a person's feelings about public option policies, so government-sponsored policies, the type of insurance they're on, whether it's a state-sponsored healthcare program or insurance through their employer or a private insurance company, and then whether or not they support the expansion of Medicaid, and then a person's personal health also has an influence on that. So my hypotheses, I ended up with 7, ranging from political ideology, the type of insurance a person is on, whether or not they have support for the Medicaid expansion, and whether or not they've been able to access or afford care in the last year, and whether or not they believe that their family would be better off because of the ACA. My data comes from the Healthy America survey in 2014. My dependent variable is a 4-point scale ranging from 1, which is very unfavorable, to 4, very favorable, on opinions of the ACA. My independent variables are a mixture of categorical variables, and I ran an ordered logistical regression and then ran a margins command on the significant variables. So this is my ordered logistical regression. I had 4 variables that turned up significant: ideology, being on Medicaid or another form of state-sponsored health care, favoring Medicaid expansion, and believing that their family would be better off under the ACA. These are my margins, which I'll explain on the next slide. So I found support for hypothesis 1, and my margins explain that the most liberal respondents were over 23% more likely to have very favorable opinions of the ACA than the most conservative respondents. I had support for hypothesis 2, so respondents who are on a state-sponsored healthcare were 9% more likely to have a very favorable opinion of the ACA than someone who was not. I had support for hypothesis 4, so respondents who strongly favored Medicaid expansion were 25% more likely to have a very favorable opinion of the Affordable Care Act. And I had support for hypothesis 7, so respondents who believe that their family would be better off under the ACA were 17% more likely to have a favorable opinion of the ACA. So in conclusion, I found support for some of my hypotheses. All of my results moved in the expected ways, just not all the variables were statistically significant. And if I were to do additional research or investigation, I would want to look at the citizens who lived in states who are against the ACA, so the more red states, but would fall into that insurance gap that the ACA is trying to cover, so they would benefit from the ACA but don't support it, and find out why. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day.